Rock with Zion on Rock Life Live. It's a love thing.
All right, welcome to Rock Life with Zion. Hey, Pam, are you connected?
I'm connected.
All right, you're live.
All right. This is Zion Jones on Rock Life Live. Rock with me. It is Monday. All right now. I am so grateful for all you on here. Of course, it's a love thing, your 3-day fix. This is the 3rd day fix of our special guest, presidential candidate, ROBBY WELLS, in a house. Once again, we have some more topics that we're going to go ahead briefly and talk about. For you to know anything about Mr. Wells, he is the 2020 presidential candidate. Mr. Wells has recently been named an ambassador and spokesperson for the International Human Rights Peace Commission. And he's a former educator and college football coach. He was the head football coach at the NCAA division, a school that's in Savannah State University, in 2008 and 2009 seasons. Mr. Wells is one to vote for, and he has so many topics that we have actually spoke before that we touched on, like the veterans, and he has great ideas for that, universal health care, the DACA program, free college, free health care, all these things that he is looking for the community to come together as a unity, people helping people, so that we can be what? Not lean on the government so much, but leaning on one another as a people to make a difference. Mr. Wells, are you here with us?
Hey, Mr. Wells, you on 803, sir? All right, I'll check. I'll open up the rest of the lines and see which one he's on. I'm not sure what line. Mr. Wells, you with us, sir?
I'm with you. I think you didn't have the right line. I'm the 202 number.
Oh, okay. All right, he's the 202. All right, got you. Okay, we got you.
All
Okay,
right.
how you guys doing this evening?
Very well. Thank you for asking. Thanks for asking. Sitting here, looking over the things that we have actually went on day 1, day 2. Now it's the day 3 of the 3-day fix. It's a love thing. And we spoke about so many things that you are looking to actually integrate and make happen for the country, for the people. And I just wanted to hit a few of those things briefly so that we can let everybody know what this transformation is necessary as of the people to come together and do this thing. I know we started off with the veterans and the universal health care. If you want to touch on a few bases so that we can just give a small summary of each one of those for the audience.
I do, Zion, but before we get started, let me just say this. Hello, friends. I send greetings to you this evening with a heavy heart. Let us take a moment to remember those lost in the bombings in Austin, Texas. I will be there tomorrow through Thursday to visit with the people as well as to give an address on Wednesday afternoon. These are very tough times. It's time for us to come together as one people. Hola, amigos. Te envío saludos esta tarde con un gran corazón. Tomemos un momento para recordar a los perdidos en los bombardeos en Austin, Texas. Estaré allí mañana para visitar a la gente. Are you there, Zion?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I just wanted to get that out there. I will be in Austin, Texas, flying out tomorrow morning, and I will be there through Thursday. I will be speaking Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And the information, of course, is on the campaign website, riseupwithrobby.com, and then you can go to all the social media links to get up-to-date information. We'll also be live. It will be televised as well as Facebook Live as well while I'm there. So I'm really looking forward to being in Austin to meet with the people. I wish it was under better circumstances, but these are tough times, and it's time for tough people to stand up.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, and we definitely want to tune in live to, be a support of that. That you want to. Can you go ahead and talk to them a little bit about each one of the subjects that we were able to share with them, and let them know a lot of different things that are you looking forward to making a difference in for us?
Absolutely. In fact, let me give a shout out to my campaign manager and several of my top advisors that are actually sitting with me here tonight in the Atlanta, Georgia area. My campaign manager actually traveled through a snowstorm to get here today from Roanoke, Virginia. So my hat's off to he and his wife that actually drove through that blizzard coming down this way. We do have a great plan. We've got a plan that is actually going to bring the people of the United States together for the first time in the history of our country. We've talked about erasing the lines of separation that have divided our nation since 1776. And once we do erase those lines of separation, America will achieve greatness for the first time. That's one thing that we are looking to do, and we're excited about this opportunity. If ever there was a time that the people of the United States needed to rise up, I believe now is that time.
This is certainly the time, And I like what you're saying, because we have to, erase the lines that's bringing on division as us as a people, and understand we all believe the same, and, come together universally, and make these changes that are necessary, because only the people can do it. So I like to go over a little bit about the veterans and a little bit about the DACA, and then we can go on to actually your universal health care and free health care plan.
Exactly. In fact, if you look at my platform, Eaglenomics, taking the absolute best from the left wing and the right wing so that we can get our country and our people working together again. This is a plan that takes care of our people. It puts the American people first. Here's what I mean by that. We're giving away all this money in foreign aid, but yet we have 50 million Americans living in poverty. We've got over 50,000 veterans that are still homeless. There's two things that never should occur with veterans. Number one is being unemployed, and number two is being homeless. This will be eradicated under my administration. I actually have a plan that will employ almost 500,000 veterans. We can protect every child in every school across this country by taking our unemployed veterans, put them through a screening process and a training process, and actually put them back to work in every school across this country as guardians for our children, so that our parents will have peace of mind when they send their children to school, knowing that they are going to get home safely every day. As far as DACA is concerned, we have 800,000 dreamers right now, and their future is kind of just hanging in the wind because of the current administration and the current president that has made the decision to overturn the executive order that President Obama put in place several years ago that protected these 800,000 good people. We're talking about people that came into the United States with their parents that were undocumented. These people came in as children. They have gone on to live very productive lives. They have no felonies. They have no major misdemeanors. Yet we have a current administration that is not wanting to protect those people. Under my administration, we're going to go back in and we're going to protect the dreamers. We're going to make sure that that this country remains a land of opportunity, a land that is the beacon of freedom for everyone around the world, a land that gives everyone a chance. You see, I'm one of those people that I started from very humble beginnings. I started with literally nothing. But I truly believe that if you've got the will, if you've got the desire in the United States, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I want to make sure that everybody has that opportunity that wants it. I also have a plan for immigration here. That plan is called Service for Freedom. In other words, we have a lot of people that come in here and they're undocumented. We have over 14 million undocumented people living in the United States right now. Under my plan, what we will do with people wanting to come into the United States, we'll give them the option of actually serving this country, whether it be on the local, state, or federal level, or they can serve in the military for a number of 4 years. During that time, they will learn the English language. They will learn the history of our country. They will earn a wage that is taxable. And at the end of that 4-year period, they will have earned their citizenship. That is called Service for Freedom. Putting the veterans back to work in the school to protect our children is called Vets for Kids. We've got some great ideas. We need some very serious people to step forward to the plate all across this country in every state, in every community, because now is the time, Zion, that we've got to come together and we've got to rise up as one people. One people. It's time for us to realize that there's more common in each one of us than there is as far as differences are. And it's time for us to lay aside those differences and realize we've all got one common bond. We are all Americans. And it's time for us to stare down the fear of our differences with a face of courage.
Yes. And the commonality, I think that is certainly something that we have to actually hone into, understanding that, when we come together to rise over these obstacles that we're headed to, that's in front of us. Because like you said, each one of these for the veterans, all of them are solutions. Solutions to what? Something that is a stepping stone or a stumbling block. But how do we, come together as a nation and overcome these obstacles? What are some of the ways that you're pulling to get into that common goal? Because all we know is things are physical, but how do we get into the spiritual part of man, understanding the commonality of us coming together as a spirit man to overcome these obstacles?
Well, if you look at this from a spiritual perspective, Zion, 94% of our country believe that there is a God. Now, 77% claim to be Christian. So we are still considered to be a Christian nation. Now, there are many different religions, and I will tell you this: I am a born-again Christian. Okay, and for those of you that are not, I hope you do not hold that against me. I truly believe that my religion goes right in line with the First Amendment, because the way I was taught as a child was to love and respect all people, even those that believed and thought different from me. And that's one thing with my Christian faith that I have tried to do, because you see, in order to be a Christian, you have to live a Christ-like life, which means you have to study the life of Christ. And it was Christ in John 3:17 where God said that he did not send Christ to condemn the world, but to save the world. So if Christ didn't come here to condemn any man or any religion, then neither will I. It's time for us to lay aside those differences and show love to everybody. That's where it's really got to come down to. And that's what I talk about as well. Zion, I talk about the boldness to love and the courage to serve. The boldness to love and the courage to serve. You think about that single mom out there that works a job through the middle of the night just to serve her children and put food on the table. The love of an overworked and underpaid school teacher that serves her students and prepares them for life. The love of our young people that serve in the military and lay their lives on the line to protect our freedom. The love of a volunteer that serves homeless veterans meals every day without even a pat on the back. And then I also say this, the love of a bald-headed football coach that's willing to serve the people as president of the United States. And my belief that this country has a place for me too. It's the boldness to love and the courage to serve. And we've got to come together with a perfect vision to rise up in 2020 with that boldness to love and the courage to serve.
Absolutely. And that's what I like to talk about, God's law versus man's law, because even though we've talked about several of these subjects, about how, we can help by way of the veterans, helping different, going into the theaters, going into the schools, going into any place that can be a danger to a citizen. And not only will they be helping them and they are trained to do those type of things, they can also help them too and provide jobs. And then we have the DACA, with the dreamers. We're having all these different type of situations and turmoil that's going nationwide. And basically what we're doing is bringing solutions. And man's solutions is always touching on the base of how we can do something physically, but understanding how can we bring back, because what's important is that we bring back or actually have rooted and grounded in the law is God's law, which is the law of love. Because if we come together as a community and bring the solution of love to each one of these problems together as a people, then we will have something where we can actually get our, we would say, country back, or getting good standing where we actually are not leaning on the government, but actually becoming a part to make something happen, giving it back to the people. What do you have to say?
Zion, here's what I'm going to tell you. Yes, you need leadership that actually has the love for the people and shows that love for the people, because the people will emulate their leadership, okay? So if that's what you're getting from your leaders, then that's what the people are going to follow and do, especially if your leadership is genuine with that love. But I will say this, there's people out there that will misconstrue love for being weak. There's another side of love, and it's called tough love. And here's what I mean by that. To our enemies out there that cross us, do not ever cross us. You should fear us to the point that you never will cross us, because if you do, and you've got the right leaders in there, such as myself, you will reap the wrath of tough love. And that's one thing that I will tell you this, Zion, as president, my first priority is to see that the American people are protected at all times. So if an enemy comes against our people, then I will show that tough love when needed, so that our people are protected.
I love that you said that, Robbie, because when you look at it, it is about protection. And it's important that people understand how to choose a good leader, because you have so many families that are so busy and catered into trying to provide for their family, going through struggles. And so they're catching the media or the information of, okay, let me pick this person because of this, or word of mouth, and not really being able to choose a person by this spirituality. What is this person moral? What is this person background? Do I want this person to lead me or to, be in a government position that, that's creating these laws and with Congress? So how do you tell the people to really kind of slow down and kind of pay attention who they're choosing to be their leader and understand how to choose a good leader?
Well, we've got to educate our people to educate themselves. We've all heard the phrase dumbing down America, and you've seen that. In fact, from the 1970s, where we were in the top 5 in education, to today being 36th in the world in the field of education, 35 countries ahead of us, Zion. That's not good enough. So we've got to do a better job of educating our people to educate themselves. There is no reason in today's world why an American citizen, someone that lives in the United States, should be uneducated, because you have all the information at the tip of your fingers, especially with the world of technology and the smartphones that everybody has now. Anything that you want to know, you can find it. You can find it with the click of one button, or the swipe of one finger across your smartphone screen. So we've got to do a better job of educating our people to educate themselves, to learn about these different candidates that are running and what they stand for, so that the people can actually find the candidates that line up as closely as possible to what the people are looking for. Because here's the thing. None of us think exactly the same on any issue or on every issue. Because if we did, we would just be a bunch of robots. But what we do have to do is make a conscious choice to go out and research those that are seeking leadership positions, to make sure that we are going to be represented by those that are as closely in line to our thinking as possible.
Yes, indeed. So what I'd like to do is, I know it's a few things that we're going to talk to presidential candidate ROBBY WELLS about, so that we can actually go into understanding about this universal health care that he's talked about, the DACA, the free college, the free health care. It is so many things that once you get into office, you know, and as we know, many times the presidents, when they go up there, they're talking about what they're going to do, you know, and I want to ask you, you know, because it's different from the outside than it is in the inside, you know, and just when you get in there, you know, understanding, okay, even though you have that vision, I'm going to work on this thing first.
Right.
What is it, your heart desire? I mean, what is the biggest thing within you that you see doing for this nation?
I would like to see the people of this country all come together and rise up from the level that they are in right now. For the 50 million Americans that are living in poverty, being able to rise up into the middle class. For those that are in the lower middle class, being able to rise up into the upper middle class. And those in the upper middle class being able to rise up into the wealthy class. That's one thing I want to see us do is progress as a people. I would like to be able to see a lot of the crime go away. Well, how do we make crime go away? It's very simple. We've got to get people off the streets, and we've got to get them back to work. It's amazing how the crime rate goes hand in hand with the unemployment rate. The lower the unemployment, the lower the murder rate or the crime rate in all these cities. Look at Chicago. Chicago will have close to 600 murders every year. Just in the past 5 years, that's over 3,000 people that have lost their lives right there in Chicago. And a lot of that comes at the hand of, let's say, gang violence. Well, if we can get those people off the streets and get them back to work, we can save lives. If we can put Vets for Kids into action across this country, then you're talking about more lives that are going to be saved. You're talking about children that are going to be able to live a full and productive life. Because I truly believe that the greatest asset of our country is our people. And the greatest asset of our people is our youth, because they are our future leaders. Think about this right now. There's probably some young people that's in high school or middle school right now that are going to come up with great inventions. There's a young lady that's sitting in a middle school class, probably in the 8th grade right now. She's going to come up with a cure for AIDS. And there's another 7th grade young man sitting in class right now, and he's going to come up with a cure for cancer. So we've got to protect our youth, because they're going to be the ones that actually help progress us as a people.
Yes. Well, there we go. Presidential candidate ROBBY WELLS for 2020. We're going to go ahead and listen to a song right now I want you to enjoy, and he's going to come back and talk to you about rising up as a community, rising up as a nation, coming together, making a difference, transforming America in a place where it can exude the perfect love of unity together.
This tune is for my grandparents. And granddad, this first verse is for you. Come on. I remember when we used to play back in the day, in the early mornings. You got me dressed, set me on your knee, wiped the sleep from my eyes as I was still yawning. You fixed my breakfast and we hit the streets. You got your newspaper and a cup of coffee, heavy on the sugar and light on the cream. Then off to the park where I played on the swings.
I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways. And all you've done for me.
Grandma, Sunday mornings, you know what? I remember waking up to the smell of the coffee that you were making. I couldn't wait to taste the grits, the eggs and the biscuits that you were baking. Grandma Barbara being at your house, all of us having fun and getting loud, and dancing to the music that you would play, moving like the band like back in the day.
I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways. And all you've done for me.
There's something else I want to say. You know what? I love the smell of the food you cook, all the hugs and the time you took, taking me to church, teaching me what the word was worth. B-I-B-L-E, basic instructions before we leave the earth. A little man sitting in the pew, you got your strap in your purse just to keep me cool. Hey grandma, ain't nothing wrong with that, you know, cause back in the day, we never ever talked back.
This tune reminds me of you and the things we would do. I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways. And all you've done for me.
Yeah. I'm so glad you were in my life. Things weren't always perfect, but you kept me right. I know you're gone now, and that's okay. Cause when you brought me up, you taught me how to make my own way. I wasn't the greatest student back at the time, but you always taught me the art of using my mind. Press forward and do what it takes. Do the best you can and don't be fake. You taught me I'm a winner and I should never quit. Aim for the top now and then go get it. When I was young, I didn't understand what you meant. The words you used were from God, yes, heaven sent. Now I live by them, yes, every day. Everything you told me, I'm remembering. Even when your love was tough, now I understand. It's that kind of tough love that helped me be the man that I am.
You were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways. And all you've done for me. I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I remember my crazy ways and all you've done for me.
You're listening to Jerry Orsi Worldwide Podcast.
We've never cracked 50 grand.
All right. This is Zion Jones with Rock Life Live, here with special guest, Robbie Wells, presidential candidate for 2020. And we're here talking about all the several different ways that he is looking to put in place so that we can get a transformation as American people, learning how to come together. And the questions that we have been asking is basically hone in on the issues that we have throughout this nation and how do we come together, because the issues have been and have not been actually getting any better. So how do we come to this place where we can make change? How do we look at the laws, God's law versus man's law, and really make these things happen? So question for you, Robbie. As I was speaking earlier, I love the fact that, you're speaking some Spanish, and all the several different nationalities, all us as a people have to come together and work together. So can you tell us, are you doing something special in our Latino community?
Well, yeah. I appreciate you asking that, Zion. We actually had a meeting earlier this evening with our Hispanic American Advisory Board, and putting together a great plan to not only reach the Hispanic Americans across this country, but to make sure that their voices are heard, especially those from Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico at this point is an island that has been forgotten to a certain degree. It was Hurricane Irma that came through and devastated Puerto Rico just this past fall. And yet, for weeks and weeks, most of that island was without power. In fact, they do not even have 100% power on that island as of today. So we are looking at some ways that we can actually help the people of Puerto Rico, ways that we can actually reach out to them. And we are planning trips now to go down to Puerto Rico to actually help the people there in any way that we possibly can. We're also going to be spending a lot of time in South Florida, spending time in California, as well as in New York, reaching out to the Hispanic American community so that their voice can be heard as well. Because this is a group of people, for the most part, that has been silent. And it's time that they have a voice, and they're going to get that voice with me as their president.
I love that. We have to have the voice. And as you know, like I said, America is going through a big change right now, just dealing, starting with the family, and on all the way up and all the way to the top, to the government, and even on top of that. But I believe the most important thing that we have to look at is understanding, this is what a love thing is about, unconditional love, the love movement, because really, truly, this is the first law. The first government was the true law, which is the law of God, and how man has strayed away from that law and put in his own law. And taking, of course, the word out of the schools, the word out of many places that have actually got us where we are today. So I think what's going to be the most important part is how we come together and, like you said, erase that division line. We have to learn how to erase that division line that was actually set there, because if you can divide, you can conquer. So how do you see yourself getting the people to understand that mindset of, you know what, I have to erase this and I have to start paying attention of choosing, you know, and educating myself who I would like to be a leader over me, and not only just to lead me, but also what I can do to support my leader. What are some of the ways that we can really get out there to make that happen?
Well, Zion, let me just say that we have people in leadership positions that like to talk the talk, but true leaders walk that walk. And I believe that we've got to pay very close attention to those that are running for office and those that are actually in office to see if their actions are matching their words, or if their actions actually speak louder than their words, and if it's in a positive manner. If you look at my personal life, if you look at my professional life, you will see that I have always been about bringing people together from all walks of life. Let's go to the years of my professional career of coaching on the collegiate level. You know, we had teams every year, and we had some very successful teams. We had teams that won championships, went undefeated winning championships. The thing about those teams, if you look at the color of the skin of each one of those players, they were all different. Everybody was a different shade, but yet none of that mattered because we all came together with one cause, and the only colors that we saw were the colors on our uniforms and the opposite colors on the uniforms of the teams that we were playing, and we tried to tear them apart to make sure that we protected our brothers. I believe that we as a people could learn a lot from our young people, because our young people have been able to lay it aside, especially the millennials. They're getting to the point now that they understand that the whole race situation is so absurd anyway, because Zion, if I told you I couldn't be your friend because your eyes were green and mine were brown, you would say that I was crazy. Or if I said I can't be your friend because your hair is gray and I'm bald, that would be crazy. But it's just as crazy to say I can't be your friend because your skin is darker than mine. So we've got to start realizing that there's a lot more similarities in each and every one of us than there is differences. And we've got to stare down those differences with the face of courage. That's one thing that I've always said, that any time that we have change in a positive direction, it takes courage to have that change. We can do that, but it's going to take strong leaders that's willing to actually lead that charge. That's what I'm going to do.
That's why you're on here. And I totally believe that Robbie is certainly a man of his word, because I've known him since his first presidential campaign, 2012. And just the dedication and the commitment and the loyalty of pressing through this whole, campaign, and now fresh into another level of making a change. And what I'd like to also discuss real briefly, because I know we have a couple minutes here, is that understanding God's law and knowing that Robbie is rooted and grounded into the word and know how to apply it, because really that's the only thing that's going to change the world. There's no other thing out there that's going to change it into what we need it to be, to really touch the heart of men and change the life of us individually. So we know God's law is about love, obedience, and family. And then we know man's law has always been about power, money, all those things of separation and singleness and disobedience. So let's hear, this is the 3-day fix, And how do we fix it, Robbie? Tell us, the 3-day fix. How do we fix this love thing that has to go and make it right?
Well, you've got to elect leaders that are grounded in what is righteous and what is just. Those that aren't power hungry, but yet hungry to serve the people. We can all be hungry when we sit down and we eat a good meal, but how many of us are actually hungry to serve others? Go find those leaders that are hungry to actually serve the people. And there's your leaders. But you've got to do your research to find those people. Okay? Those types of individuals are few and far in between, but they're out there. And a lot of them have to be persuaded to actually run. That's one thing that I'm doing as a presidential candidate. When I see good people across this country that I believe would be great leaders, people that are actually serving already in their community, I encourage those people to go ahead and start running on the local level, the state level, the federal level. We need great senators. We need great congressmen. We need people in city council on the same level. I've got friends in city council up in Flint, Michigan. Okay, now Flint. Let's take Flint for instance. Flint is that forgotten city that lost thousands of manufacturing jobs over the past 25 years. Flint is a city that has had major problems. People losing their lives over the water problem there with the lead content in the water over the past few years. But yet I have friends that are on city council there that truly love the people. Now, they could have left a long time ago because, again, Flint is that forgotten city. They could have left and they could have gone and made a whole lot of money, but they chose to stay to represent the people that were there to help them have a better life. My hat goes off to those types of individuals like an Eric Mays that's on city council up there in Flint, Michigan. My hat goes off to the little lady that works in her church just to help the little children each Sunday. So there's a lot of great things that go on in this country, and a lot of it people say it goes unnoticed. It's not that it goes unnoticed. It's just not talked about very much. I'm willing to talk about
it. This is what I want you guys to know, is that Robbie Wells has my vote simply because understanding the root and where the heart and soul really is for the people. Not only that, but actually having the Most High God in his heart to make righteous choices, because it's a very difficult, as we know, that we are in a spiritual warfare and we cannot fight a spiritual battle in a fleshly manner. You have to be very well equipped and armored up. And I wanted to say, go to Robbie Wells, riseupwithrobbie.com. And I love this. I wanted to say real briefly, he has on his website Egonomics. And it says Egonomics takes the best from the left wing and the right wing. For many decades, the people of the United States have elected a president that was leaning heavily to the left wing or right wing. This basically means that half of our population has been represented by a president that they agree with on the issue. Times have changed, and economics is the plan that all Americans can look to and find issues that can be identified with. This plan has structured solutions to restore prosperity to our land by getting people from all walks of life to work together. And this is the love movement. And in order to do this, we have to learn to all walk together, no matter what walk of life, what national or religion, what race, what sexual orientation we are. It does not matter. What matters is what we have to have unconditional love and come together and being able to understand that when we have a good leader, we have to come together as a body, because good leaders have to have ones behind them and around them that will actually help. Because guess what? It's not just about the one person. It's about the whole body. And if the whole body works together, then the whole body can eat together, play together, and be blessed together. Do you have any last words before we go here, Robbie?
Well, Zion, I want to thank you again for this opportunity on this 3-week series. It's truly been an honor to be able to come into the homes of all of your listeners across this country. For those of you that are hearing me for the first time, my name is Robbie Wells. I am seeking the Democratic Party's nomination for President of the United States in 2020 to bring this country together. Whether you are black or white, young or old, male or female, gay, straight, Democrat, Republican, independent, or a third party, whatever your religion may be, we are all very unique in this country. We can celebrate our differences because we have one common bond. We are all Americans, and it's time for us to come together. But you're going to need strong leaders to do that. That's why I have stepped to the plate. I stepped to the plate with this plan called Eaglenomics, taking the absolute best from the left wing and the right wing. I've never seen a bird fly with one wing. Our government can't function with one wing either. People have asked, are you left wing or are you right wing? I said, I'm neither. I'm the bird that sits in the middle. And we're going to pull both wings to us so that we can soar all the way to Washington in 2020. Thank you again for this opportunity, Zion. Thank you to the American people. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless our military that's serving in the United States and around the globe. And may God bless these United States.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Robbie Wells, for coming on here and sharing with us, the American people, the true dream, the dream of really making this come together as a nation with unconditional love, learning how to pick the right leaders and having them in position so that we can stand no matter what. And I like what the word says, steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Most High, knowing when to stand, how to stand, and not wavering. And that's what's going to make change. Where God is looking for his soldiers, for us to come together. And we will be there. And any time that you want to come, you are certainly welcome back on the Love Thing, the 3-Day Fix. And again, thank you. And everyone, thank you for rocking with Zion. Thank you for rocking with me. And, till next week, same time, same place. See you then. God bless.
This tune is for my grandparents. And granddad, this first verse is for you. Come on. I remember when we used to play back in the day, in the early mornings. You got me dressed, set me on your knee, wiped the sleep from my eyes as I was still yawning. You fixed my breakfast and we hit the streets. You got your newspaper and a cup of coffee, heavy on the sugar and light on the cream. Then off to the park where I played on the swings.
I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways. And all you done for me.
Grandma, Sunday mornings, you know what? I remember waking up to the smell of the coffee that you were making. I couldn't wait to taste the grits, the eggs, and the biscuits that you were baking. Grandma Barbara being at your house, all of us having fun and getting loud, and dancing to the music that you would play, moving like the band like back in the day.
I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways. And all you done for me.
There's something else I want to say. You know what? I love the smell of the food you cook, all the hugs and the time you took, taking me to church, teaching me what the word was worth. B-I-B-L-E, basic instructions before we leave the earth. A little man sitting in the pew, you got your strap in your purse just to keep me cool. Hey grandma, ain't nothing wrong with that, cause back in the day, we never ever talked back.
This tune reminds me of you and the things we would do. I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways and all you done for me.
Yeah. I'm so glad you were in my life. Things weren't always perfect, but you kept me right. I know you're gone now, and that's okay. Cause when you brought me up, you taught me how to make my own way. I wasn't the greatest student back at the time, but you always taught me the art of using my mind. Press forward and do what it takes. Or do the best you can and don't be fake. You taught me I'm a winner and I should never quit. Aim for the top now and then go get it. When I was young, I didn't understand what you meant. The words you used were from God, yes, heaven sent. Now I live by them, yes, every day. Everything you told me, I'm remembering. Even when your love was tough, now I understand. It's that kind of tough love that helped me be the man.
I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways and all you done for me. I'm so glad you were in my life. You brought me through all the pain and strife. I couldn't take it. I'm so glad you're here by my side. You wiped the tears right from my eyes. I couldn't make it. I remember those happy days. I remember my crazy ways and all you done for me.
Lord, I want to say thank you for being so good to me. I wrote a little something for you, but I must tell you, it's a different type of vibe. Here we go.
When I feel your music in my soul and your words just take a hold, I get excited, I get happy. Your word is touching me for sure. I love that you have no equal. I love that you make me feel secure.
listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double X.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.